This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
RaceSpotTV, welcome back to this again. As I've just got and decided to butcher every single word I normally speak, I'm Rachel Wife, and joined as always by Linus Bergstrom for Monday Night Skippys. Vincent in the background operating cameras and cursing at me as we speak. We're here for round number 5 at Oulton Park and the Foster's layout. That is the short layout here that comes to the latter half of the circuit. A very short run down from turn 1, 2 to 3 before we take a quick zigzag across the backstretch and up back through the long climb into the woods. Well, Linus, the championship so far has been quite open and very much exciting as the points table really starting to show things that are going to be developing for this season. Anthony Catt out front right now with 124, a single point behind those Simon Edwards in second place. We've got Claire Hughes, Ben Daniels, Daniel Tufts, Ian Patterson, Tom Ward in P7 right now. He's only got 2 starts, but he's up there.
He is, and he had that win in the first round, and that's definitely helped him. So as long as he does the rest of the season, he's definitely going to be someone to count on. And Simon Edwards as well in second. He has 3 straight wins, so he'll be going for his 4th straight win here today.
He certainly will be, and well, another straight win would be a huge accomplishment for him, but a lot of challenges out there seeking to grasp this. And Oulton Park, a very popular circuit amongst these drivers. This layout, Oulton is tight, it's narrow, it is twisty, it's going to be one of those tracks that really test these guys, especially their spatial awareness in the side-by-side racing.
Yeah, it really will be. It's a really, really fast layout and not too many hard braking points. You're definitely going to have to rely on momentum and a bit of that slipstream that you get on these straights if you're going to make an overtake, because obviously the main braking point is down into turn 3 at the bottom of the hill, I would say. Otherwise, other than that, it's just a proper momentum track.
Absolutely is. That is a very good opinion for that one, Linus, as we do in fact go to the starting grid. Anthony Catt takes pole today with a 105.574. Claire Hughes in second place with Chris Robertson in third. Note Clark Williams and Simon Edwards rounding out top 5. Simon Edwards not doing a great job today in qualifying. Lee Anderson, Sarah Savage is with a great high there of 7. SJ Dunning, Daniel Tufts, Simon Maltby in 10th. Matt Cox is 11th with Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in the 12th place. Tony Stack, Ewan Patterson, James McRitchie, Peter Cowan, Gary Torr returning yet again with Chris Bassett, Peter Parnell, and James Ruth Jones in 20th. Rest of the positions on your screen. Linus, this track, who do we think we've got our eye on here? Is this going to be Catt, or will Edwards recover from his qualifying?
Well, Edwards has shown some great pace all season long, and while Catt is in the very best position, obviously starting on pole position, I think Edwards is going to get up to those front 2 runners pretty quickly. Also, Chris J. Robertson qualifying 3rd shows that he's got some good speed around here, so he'll definitely be one to keep an eye on as well. But I think Anthony Catt might be able to hold on to the lead in this one and get his first win of the season.
Certainly could be. That would be exciting to see for us today. We've got 22 laps around the Oulton Park Foster circuit today, 6 turns. This is some Lime Rock Park territory right here, Linus. We're looking at a very fast lap in our 1 second bracket. We're looking for a 106.574. Where does that take us? Oh, deep into the pack. That takes us all the way down to 24th out of 40 cars. So it's going to be a very, very busy race. In fact, the back of the pack starting here almost at the last corner. And that's saying something, since the last corner here is down a massive dip, meaning the guys towards the back half are starting dramatically uphill, where the leaders are starting downhill. So we'll see how that one plays out. Right now, Catt with Hughes and Robertson leading up our front charge. Great qualifying there from Chris Robertson, Linus in the 37. a season high for him on the grid, so excited to see that as the engines, I believe, we're about to start to rev. I could have imagined that, but the engines here are pretty quiet and weedy. But that's the Skip Barber.
Still a couple of cars waiting to grid at the back, but remember last week at Suzuka we had over half the field go off at some point during the first half of the lap, so definitely going to have to keep an eye on that here today, especially coming down to the hill into the first braking point. Is going to be very interesting to see how many people will go off there, and the barrier is not far away in that corner.
Engines rev, the lights are on, green flag waves, Oulton Park, here we come. Early move by Claire Hughes, dropping into second place there, right behind Anthony Cat as they head towards the first corner. Sweeping wide right-hander, which is actually tighter than it looks. It funnels you out wide down to the exit curbing, Linus, and off to that kind of, what do I call it here? It's got a compacted astroturfy grass section just on the outside, but sweeping down, a big drop here in 2, in down 3. Big braking zone now as they come through the cut-through, which is the Foster Circuit. One of the big opportunities for people to mistake that braking and have a bit of a contact point. But no problems just yet for them as everyone coming through without any real drama. Little bit of closeness further back though. It's all going to be around, I think that was Mark Murphy. It was in fact around Mark Murphy back in 23rd place in some real congestion. Just ahead of him, Torpy and Adcock side by side there. Coming up now towards the crest, we'll look back towards your leaders. Claire Hughes is out front here. He made the pass just a few corners ago. It's one of those very rare moments where just slid through on Cat. Cat having dropped back to second place here. Chris Robertson holding third quite admirably here. Great, I've got to say, really great qualifying from him, Linus. Didn't expect to see such a fast lap, but he's really put it out there today in this race.
Yeah, he did a great job with that qualifying time. It's very good for him, surprisingly well actually. And Simon Edwards as well, who started 5th, just climbed up into 4th position now, so he's already started his charge. But Lee Hughes up in, actually down, yeah, up into the lead. He passed Cat, like you said early on, and Cat not able to get right back past him. But he's going to have to use the draft land. We got a couple of cars going off, 4 cars going off coming down the hill. That is Simon Maltby, Tim Adcock, Nicholas Von Roberts is involved in that, and I think Tommy Stack is up as well. That's,
it was a solo incident.
Wow.
A solo kick out at the back for Maltby. Dropped the back end of his car, got on the grass, came back across the track there, and contacted the 252 of Vaughan Roberts. Unavoidable for Maltby to really rejoin at that point, which caused the initial spin, contact with Patterson, and then a secondary contact a little bit later on, but a kind of a 3-corner crash there for Maltby. He managed to make it last through all 3 of them, but unfortunately the drivers caught up into that. We're starting to see a bit of a break now as Simon Edwards has moved past Chris Robertson into 3rd place. Clark Williams catching up behind them, as is Sarah Savage. She's managed to gain a spot from qualifying. Edwards in 3rd here, but there's now a gap between, of course, Hughes, Cat and Edwards. This could be taken advantage of by Hughes and Cat, but is Edwards just quick enough in this race pace that he's going to get onto these guys? Oh, Sarah Savage gets exactly the same way as Simon Maltby just got, but in just the right place to regain it and have a moment there as she just scoots off the track, having run
that
wide.
Was a
narrowly
massive save from Sarah.
Yeah, huge there.
She goes wide, loses it out onto the curb, and somehow just keeps it straight, bounces back across the track onto the back straightaway, and just rejoins by losing only 2 positions. That was, I thought she was about to gain another spot, but she only ended up losing 2.
Eyes on the leaders here as Anthony Cat right up the gearbox of Claire Hughes, heading towards the final corner. Not going to make a move just yet, but an absolute passing opportunity there, as is Simon Edwards, who's now caught right up to your lead too. We now have a 3-car battle for the lead of this race, as they're showing some real speed coming up here. It's been interesting to see how cold the tyres get. It's something we got told by Simon Edwards last week, that the tyres for the first couple of laps are very cold here. The car's very slippery. Is that what we're seeing down there? People trying to put too much side stress on the tyre as they're coming through the fast left there, and it's making the car step out, lose a bit of traction. But obviously as the race will go on, that tyre will get stickier and they'll have more grip. Of course, quite a hard compound for the Skip Barber, as everyone's sliding through there. No pass just yet. Take a look back at the field here. Got some separation. We've got a lot of packs of 2s. We've got Peter Cowan, we've got Gary Tall running there. Just ahead of them it's Patterson and Savage. A little bit further back in the running order, we have a good knot of cars here around Tony Stack, who's just run wide as the commentator curse strikes, then he goes off the track. We'll see Alan Patterson catch up here. He will have an opportunity to try and pass Stack, but doesn't quite make it happen. And I believe that could be a damaged car behind him. No, the car's intact. We have got the car though of Vaughan Roberts a little bit ahead of that. Working his way back through things as Maltby goes round again. Simon Maltby goes right round in the middle of, I believe that's the fifth corner. Right in the middle there, and the cars had to split round in both sides. That was insane.
Yeah, he just got sent flying there. That was dramatic. That could have been a lot bigger than it was. Thankfully, there's only a few cars involved in that, but he tried to get out of the way and decided not to and got sent flying straight up into the air. That's very unfortunate for Vaughan Roberts, who just ran straight into the side of him, so he's going to have to go back into the pits.
Huge knot of cars here around the car though, Tim Adcock. Just ahead of them we've got the likes of D. Brown, Ray Presley. My gosh, we just saw Maltby flipped there on the cameras, as you saw that one a few moments ago. But we've got Morris McGovern behind them now. This huge pack of cars down around 25th, Linus. This is a majority of what we're seeing here. We've got Alan Patterson towards the front of that group with Tony Stack. That is around 18th place. This comes all the way back, including the venerable Paul Smith of RaceSpotTV out there racing. You'll have him live on his stream, of course, as that is about 10 cars we've got in a grouping, and this is right towards kind of the back of our field, the bottom third, you'd say, but they're absolutely going at it here.
Yeah, they definitely are, and this is what's so great about this series. There's cars all the way through the field, and now you see Morian, not even going to try to pronounce that, right behind Neil Jackson. He was having a look, but he decided to back out. That's battling for 21st and 22nd at the moment in this group. And, well, behind them we almost have 3 white coming onto the front straight away for 27th on back with McGovern, Fragula, Smith and Herring. Sorry, that's Morris in 26th on back, but they seem to be spreading out as well. McGovern going to the back of that group.
Smith, though, you look at that dive in turn 1, makes it past
nice
there. Fragula. Going to have a look set up now for Morris on the outside for 2. Takes the inside for 3. Slides it through there. Paul Smith absolutely on a runner here. Didn't manage to run too wide there. Holds the car in position nicely through the third corner there and just slots it into position. 3 spots gained there. Nice driving.
It really was, and he's doing his best. Wants to follow up last week's good race with another decent result here today, and he's doing the good job so far, getting closer to that top 20. So hopefully we'll see him in the top half of the field before too long.
Certainly look forward to seeing that. Fantastic driving there, as we've got a bit of an option here towards the front of the field. Lap car just slightly in the way there. Claire Hughes has just slowed things down slightly, allowing the car of Simon Edwards to get a little bit closer. He's in second place right now, ahead of Anthony Cat. And Claire Hughes has got a crosshairs on the back of his car for points leader Simon Edwards. And this is going to be exciting to see. It's actually not Simon Edwards. I just completely mumbled that one. It's Anthony Cat who's leading. Simon Edwards is a single point behind him. And if they finish in this orderliness, that does change and he becomes the points leader. So perhaps I'll see a premonition.
Well, he does, and if they stay like this, Leyus obviously is going to get a bit closer as well. He is 27 points behind, so he's not going to get all that, but he's going to gain a few points, so it's better than nothing, but it's still a long way to go, only coming on to lap number 8 now out of 22, so almost, well, just over a third of the way through, I would say, just about anyway. But they are spreading out slightly, so Edwards will have to try and close up to the back of Leyus again if he wants to win this race. And Cat is struggling to hold on. He lost, well, actually he had the fastest lap of the race on that last lap, so he actually gained half a tenth, so he's doing what he can, but he's not gaining quite enough, and the guys behind him, 3rd, 4th and 5th, about 1.5 seconds back, so as long as they don't battle, we might get a 6-car battle.
Simon Edwards here is absolutely all over Hughes yet again. Just appears to be a lot faster through that first sector of the racetrack, closing up yet again, looking to the inside now, and he gets that wheel inside. Can he hold it through the left? He does. Inside for the right, double apex here as they're going to go too wide through that corner now. Holds the position. Can he keep it there for the final corner, which will give him that run to the front? This is bringing Cat upon them. No, running too wide at Oulton Park really slows you down. Edwards goes for the inside. It's kept tight though. Hughes on the outside should just protect that lead as we come up here onto the start-finish straight. Does, just closes that door off again. Absolute dogfight here in the British countryside, as now here comes Cat. He has to close the door on him. Edwards just slamming that door shut. Takes a wider line here through turn number 1. Gets a good run through the inside, but it won't be quite enough as he just tries to nudge on the outside. Holds him in there for this right. Big left, though, should give the advantage back to Hughes. It's back and forth, and this will bring the cars behind them, and it is right back up to your leaders. That gap they had is just being absolutely eroded by this racing. As here comes Williams, Anderson and Roberts.
They do, and Lee Hughes, he had great momentum on the outside there out of all the right-hand corners, so Edwards couldn't do anything coming down the straightaways, but here he comes again with the slipstream coming up the hill. Cat is right behind him as well, so one mistake here from Edwards, and Cat is going to move into second. But Edwards trying to set it up here. He's actually dropping back slightly from Hughes, not getting quite as close as he did last time. Cat just moves out of the draft to not get close enough, and Williams and Anderson behind are closing again. Edwards still going to try and set Lee Hughes up here, coming onto the front straightaway, this time maybe down the hill, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move into turn 1, I don't think. Though this is turning into a 6-car group now.
It absolutely is, and that will definitely heighten the fight for us here at Oulton Park. As looking through our field, we still got that big knot of cars further back. We have Tony Stack actually is one I'm keeping an eye on here. He's just been racing there with the 24 of Parnell, gets through into the final corner but runs wide. Parnell might have an option to come back at him here, doesn't quite. Morris behind him though is going to catch up. This is back for 19th place, 18th place in the running order. Morris comes up on the outside of Parnell there. Parnell comes back at Stack, and they both run wide, losing time. Here we'll have an opportunity for Morris, but the road so narrowly, there's just no room to get even through there. There's just nothing he can really do.
Nice. It's barely wide enough for 2 cars when you do it like that out of the corner. You just got to leave each other as much room as you can, even though it's really hard, because that exit of that turn 1 just comes right back at you, so you got to be really careful what you do. But Stack manages to hold on to that 17th position and actually opens up a bit of a gap to Parnell, who's now got Morris all over the back of him, and he's going to try and get a run coming back up the hill here into the last bits, into Druids. He's actually going to back off though, and he's almost going to get ran over from behind. So that could have ended badly, but thankfully they stayed off each other.
That was Neil Jackson there at the back of that group, and now they've been joined by Alan Patterson too. Jackson looks at the inside of Morris. Morris though has the racing line, recovers it by the start-finish line, as you see all the motorcycle gridding there, of course, here at Oulton Park. Patterson coming up right behind us, 21st position right now, looking for an opportunity as once again Morris has to back off a little too close there to Jackson, a little too close to back of Morris on that straight, gives the opportunity now to Patterson as the momentum's lost. Patterson will clear him by 3, and he just about closes the door there as Jackson has to just dial it back a little bit there as misses the apex. Does Alan Patterson come back for Neil Jackson as they're going to look up the inside there, but doesn't get it secured. Back at the very lead of this race, this 3-car pack, the breakaway we had is gone. Hughes still leads, Edwards, Cat, but Clark Williams and Lee Anderson on top of this thing. A little bit of a gap to Chris J. Robertson back there, but it's definitely still a thing. Lap 12 here, we're past halfway now, Linus, and this thing is absolutely flying throughout the field.
Yeah, this is still anyone's race here in the top 5, I would say. I don't think Robertson is going to have too much to say about the win here. He might be able to get lucky and get maybe a top 3 if something happens, but it's at the moment I believe this is between Hughes, Edwards, Cat, Williams and possibly Anderson as well, depending on obviously how this develops. Still a long way to go though, as we're only on lap 12 out of 22, but Lee Hughes is setting a good pace here. Edwards can just barely get up to the back of him with the draft down his straightaways, and then coming out of turn 1 down the hill, he pulls away again. So Edwards, he seems quick at the end of the lap here from about the bottom and coming up the hill, but then going back down the hill, Lee Hughes just pulls away somehow.
Yeah, he absolutely does, and I'm really excited to see how this one will play out. But Hughes definitely has the straight line speed, and this is again, we've seen that kind of doctrine difference in the Skip Barbeliness, that we see that some guys set up for speed, for straight line performance, we've seen some guys set up for the cornering. Well, it's a subtle difference, it is not very big, and only really the top drivers in this car are really capable of noticing a difference in terms of performance of the differences in the setup there. It's a very tiny difference, and it's the nuance between 2 styles. Fast in corner, fast on straight. And it's this kind of top 5, top 6 drivers we're seeing here that are all on that edge where it matters, and we see that difference in the setup really playing off for them. As you see there, Hughes, the straight line speed out the corner is really benefiting him compared to Edwards, who really is quicker in the corner and just can't find an opening to get through.
No, he can't. As you can see here, he's using the draft again to get close, but he can't get close enough because of the exit speed that Lee Hughes has, which means that he opens up the gap through the corner and onto the straight. This time though, Edwards gets the exit perfect. He's going to be right on the back of Lee Hughes, coming up towards the last corner. He's going to look on the outside though. If he can get up alongside him, he might have the momentum, but the use is too far ahead. And here comes Cat. He's going to look up to the right side of Edwards, coming down the front straightaway. Edwards has a bit of an inside here though. He might be able to clear him, as Edwards also has to draft, and Cat is just going to drop in behind and stay in third. And Clark Williams behind is not going to do anything, get involved here, but it's definitely a 5-car bunch now. So they're coming up on lap traffic as well.
Everything gotten super tight all of a sudden there, with Anderson closing up right behind the cars ahead. Lap traffic ahead is going to become a very big problem very quickly, as it's right in the middle of the corner. He has to dive out of the way there, find some sort of way to get out of the freight train coming up behind him, as through the cars will all come in just about enough room. So that wasn't a massive concertina. Could have been an absolute disaster there, but Hughes still leads the way. Edwards looking for an opening somewhere. Cannot find anything right now, just struggling to find something that could do this for him. Cat a little bit further back there, as are Clark Williams and Lee Anderson, but the race still very much on. Taking a look back now at Chris Morris. We look back at him, he's in 19th place, racing here with the car of the 24 being Parnell. Jackson ahead of those guys now. He made that move, but off the track he goes there. Chris Morris tried to find an opening. The opening didn't exist. It's called Schrodinger's pass. He was both passing and failing to at the same time.
Well, you can't really blame him for trying. There was an opening, but it closed before he got there, so he was lucky to not crash out there. Keeps it going behind Jackson, so still all to play for here. Morris still right on the back of Jackson now. He's going to try and get this 18th position, possibly coming into turn 1. He's going to have a bit of a look. Is he close enough? He's going to be brave enough to do it. He's going to be late on the brakes. Oh, and he's almost going to clear him right on the entry, but he's not. Jackson goes wide, and that's going to cost him... actually, it's not going to cost him anything. Wow.
Nice recovery
impressive
there from Neil Jackson, as he just sends it Baja style across the grass and rejoins without losing a bit of speed there, and a little bit of a kick of a drift there in the bottom corner to secure that now, as Morris will make the move past Parnell after he ran wide. And that was a beautiful recovery, I've got to say. Neil Jackson, move of the race.
Well, that certainly was. And meanwhile, we've had a pass for second place. Anthony Cat has gotten past Edwards, but now he's on the inside. Edwards is coming back around the outside through turn number 1, and he's going to actually hold on to that second position. But Cat doing everything he can here. He almost had him cleared in the last corner, but Edwards had the better exit speed and passed him back on the straightaway and through turn 1, coming back down the hill. Lee Hughes has opened up a gap now thanks to this, and he's got just over half a second down to, or just under half a second, sorry, down to second place Simon Edwards, who is going to be using the draft though down the straightaways and probably going to come right back up to the back end.
Yeah, absolutely is. Have a quick look here at some of the traffic a little further back. James McRitchie just runs a little bit wide there ahead of Alan Patterson and Paul Smith. Smith making a move here on Patterson. Looks to the outside of 2 into 3, has the inside line, makes it slide through like a knife through butter. Down into 4. And he's going to be looking for McRitchie and Parnell ahead of them now. They're catching up to this group we were talking about a moment ago, Linus, with Morris, Jackson and Parnell. And Paul Smith's been on the rise, 26th to 22nd now. It's not been a lot of places, but he's been up and down like a yo-yo so far. Let's see if he can actually move up these spots and actually secure it for him today. Gary Toll is one we're having a quick look at now. He is right in the midst of things now with Peter Cowan. And I believe that is the... No, trying to work out who that was. And that might have been a lap car on the outside of them. As through will come as well Chris Bassett. Cowan right up behind Gary Toll now. This is heading towards the top 10. The cars for that, they were quite distance ahead. They may not have time to get there. But Gary Toll now defending against a seasoned veteran in Peter Cowan, the 99 car. Gary Toll's been quick in previous seasons, Linus. He's been a top 10 car, but he's been out this season for a couple of runs. So he's rusty. He's only been back 2 races as far as I can tell. Is he going to be off his boil compared to someone like Cowan?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job still, sitting in the 11th, not too far behind the leader. So he's definitely doing a good job. But here comes Cowan looking on the outside. He's going to close that door, though. Cowan is going to brake really early for the last corner. Maybe try and set him up coming down the front straightaway here through the deer sleep. Not going to be able to get even close enough, though, to make any move down into turn number 1. So Toll holding on to P11. That's definitely an okay okay race for him, I would say.
Patterson here, P number 10 right now, battling with Sarah Savage for 9th spot on the racetrack. Just ahead of them, Cox and Dunning are doing exactly the same thing as you and Patterson are going to try and find a way past that 15 car. Patterson started 14th up to 10th right now. Savage down 2 spots from where she started to 9th place. We'll have to see if Patterson can get a run here and find a line that will work. And like we said, it's a very difficult place to pass, Linus. We're not seeing a huge amount of it unless people make mistakes. With it being so narrow, I do apologise, it's hard for drivers to really find those options.
Yeah, it's a very big momentum track, this, especially on this layout, and with all these cars being so equal, you almost have to rely on somebody to make a mistake if you're gonna get a run on a big enough run on somebody to be able to make a pass. But Pattinson is right on the back of Sarah Savage, has been for a few laps now, and he's right there. He just can't get close enough. Maybe he can get a run coming out of turn 1 as he gets really sideways. That's going to cost him, but Sarah goes way out in the gravel into the grass, but she's going to be able to keep the momentum just like we saw earlier. So Pattinson is not going to get any closer. He's actually going to drop even further back down into the first real breaking point of the lap. So nothing going to happen there.
Looking back at English, Rachel, English. Looking back at our lead drivers right here, it's finally a division between the top 5 as 4 and 5 drop a little bit further back, and wide goes Clark Williams. Through will take Anderson. We talked about mistakes. Anderson just used that mistake to his advantage and up towards the front. Here is Anthony Catt coming up the outside now on Simon Edwards. Edwards comes back at him, but we'll take the inside line. Undercut there for Anthony Catt. It's going to be big for his championship points, of course, and this is what these guys are all thinking about and how much this will impact their race. He doesn't hold the position, though, as we'll see Edwards hold that back. Bigger gap, though, in front to Claire Hughes, which means he could have a faster run out of the corner if he pushes it, but not going to get there in time to really do anything with this now. Have to follow in line. When are we going to see these guys really push it? It's lap 20 now. We've got 22 on the board. When are we really going to see the tussle here take place? Because there's 5 cars that are all in the potential to win this. But it's like Claire Hughes has been given just a green flag the whole race. No one's really tried to take him on.
Well, I think they're doing the best they can. He's just too fast around here, and he's not making any mistakes. He's not letting anybody get close enough to him, and you can't really do much in any corner other than at the bottom of the hill, Cascades, Hislop, whichever corner that is, and then up in Lodge Corner, which is the last one. But that still isn't a very big breaking point. Here, though, comes Simon Edwards up the outside again. He's going to break early. Going to not have the overlap on use, and Cat is going to try and get up the inside, but it's not going to be close enough either. So it's coming to 2 laps to go. Nobody can really do anything. Edwards has the speed on Lee Hughes. Again, he's going to move on the outside into turn 1. This might help Cat, but Edwards backs up really early. Cat does not move up to the inside, and Anderson has to stay behind him 4th. Here he comes again. He's going to have the inside coming down into the breaking point, but he's going to back out again.
I think we're seeing exploratory moves here from Simon Edwards now on lap 21. Looking for an opportunity here, maybe frustration setting in, trying to find a way past the Welsh driver, Claire Hughes in the 42 car, who's been dominating this race. Whether it's the track that's helping him or his straight line speed, something in that machine is definitely working right here, Linus, and Simon Edwards is trying to probe his defenses, trying to find an option. Looks inside now for the double right, won't get it done in time. Here comes Cat again. Cat waiting for a mistake from his championship rival at the moment. The point separates them, and if they finish in this order, the championship title will change in terms of its positioning, but it's not going to be a lot of points difference between them, of course. Here comes Anderson on the outside, pushing the issue. Side by side here with Cat will definitely slow him out of the corner. Look at how fast that gap opened up. This is how punishing Oulton Park could be. Clark Williams comes up behind them as well now, as it's a wheel slap there, as now 1 and 2. Final lap. They can use Simon Edwards on this for the last time. What can Simon Edwards do? The threat, though, of Anthony Cat has been taken out here as Lee Anderson elbows his way through here on Anthony Cat into turn 3. Trying to find a way through this. Cat will hold the outside, though. Running wide. Got to dive it in deep here. May not have the exit line. Gets it clear, though. Just up ahead of them, Simon Edwards now with Hughes. This is the moneymaker. This is the last few corners where he can make something happen, and he's going to have to put everything into this if he wants to win this race. Comes up right behind him, goes to the inside line. There's a right, then there's a left. There's left and there's a right. And it's a long corner as he holds it in there. A bit of a wheel slap, a little bit of contact as through they'll come, but he's lost that position and opportunity. One last corner to really throw this at him, but Claire Hughes has really been holding his lines well here, defending this race perfectly. And now behind them, Cat's going to hold off Anderson, I think, as through they'll come. Here comes Clark Williams, though. The dark horse has a bit of a look to the outside, but it won't be enough as the line is really early. Clay Hughes wins at Oulton Park with Simon Edwards in second place. Anthony Cat in third.
Well, that was not quite as exciting as we're used to this season, but still everybody throwing it everywhere, and Edwards doing everything he can. Slight contact on the last lap as well, but Lee's done an amazing job to be able to hold that lead all the way up until the end.
Yeah, he absolutely did a phenomenal race there from him, as we're going to take a look at our post-race results now as the final drivers are coming across the line. Clay Hughes comes home with a win today with a phenomenal race there, holding off major threats at the end. Simon Edwards in second, and joining him on the podium is third place Anthony Cat. Behind them, Lee Anderson and Clark Williams rounds out your top 5 for tonight. Chris Robertson, Matt Cox, SJ Dunning, Sarah Savage and Ewan Patterson in 10th. Peter Cowan is 11th with Gary Tall in 12th place. Chris Bassett, James Ruth Jones, Neil A. Jackson rounds out 15th from 34th, so that's 20 places gained for him. John Torpy, Mark Murphy, Peter Parnell, James McRitchie and Chris J. Morris in 20th. Rest of those results up on your screen as Linus. That was actually really exciting. Oulton never disappoints.
No, it was really exciting despite the lack of passing. Everybody still did everything they could, and it was really close all the way till the end, and having 5 cars within a second and a half at the end is really good. And we actually had 8 cars within 5 seconds, because the second or third group caught up to the leaders as well in the end. There's a few more laps and we might have had an 8-car battle for that win.
We certainly did, and it was a phenomenal little bit of racing, but this car this season perhaps a little bit more difficult for these guys to really work in the close quarters.
Yeah, it's a lot more work for the drivers to be going faster on here. It used to be a lot easier, one of the easier cars on the service, but it's really changed and made it for the better, made for a lot better racing and more strategic racing as well.
Certainly has indeed, and it's definitely made things a lot more interesting for those drivers out there. And this will kind of excite our point standings, of course. We did talk about it earlier, but of course Hughes now is not going to be close enough in terms of points. He's in 97, so he was 27 points behind Anthony Cat, our leader. So this won't catapult him into the lead, but it will bring him a lot closer to those guys, as of course they're all going to gain as well, extending that lead. And it will be a slight reversal, as Edwards will shift up to the first spot in the standings, of course, after round number 5. It looks as though we are not getting anybody to chat to tonight, Linus. Nobody here loves us.
Well, Simon Edwards usually shows up when he wins, but
well, when he wins, yeah, not
place
tonight.
Maybe isn't good enough for him.
No, he doesn't come and talk to us when he gets second place. It's so disappointing. Either way, folks, thank you for joining us tonight on Monday Night Skippys. We will be back, of course, same time next week. Keep a look out on our channel and, of course, the iRacing Esports Network for upcoming broadcasts from RaceSpotTV. I've been Rachel Whitehead. I've been joined, as always, by Linus Brostrom and the maestro himself, Will Vincent, on the production desk. We'll see you next week.